So I've been watching What the Bleep again. If you haven't seen What the Bleep, I highly recommend you go on to Netflix or whatever and watch it. And what I loved about that movie was the idea that it brought into the whole perspective of energy. And that how energy is what we are. That's all that we are. We are energy expressing itself. We're individualized energy, and that energy takes form. And if you remember, in the movie, there was a study by Dr. Emoto. And Dr. Emoto's study was about how they took glasses or bottles of water and they put names on it like love, peace, joy, beauty, and that type of thing. And when they put the names on the water became a different crystal. So when they looked at it under the microscope, you could see the impact of it, that it was very, very different. So it goes to show, think about this, that your body is 75 to 80% water. So what happens with that water? Why does our bodies have certain things happen to us? We're going to explore that today. Because I'm going to talk today about tuning in to your vibrational frequency. And so what we talk about at Agape all the time is our life experience is the result of how we use the law, whether we use it consciously or unconsciously. So as we explore this idea of the law, we understand that the leap of faith that we make at Agape is that we believe that there is an infinite presence, a power, an underlying principle to all of life. We can't define this principle. We just know that there is an infinite presence. Call it God, call it Buddha, call it Harry, call it Sue. It doesn't matter what you call it. You're going to limit it just there. But we know it's always been. It always will be. We know it's all-knowing. We know that it's all-powerful. We know that everything is created out of it, because if it was infinite, there could be nothing other than it from with it to create from. So we are the individualizations of it. So every aspect of our being is the divine expressing itself, and in that uniqueness, we have the ability to use the law, which is an aspect of the one that simply takes what we put into it and it creates our life experience. So we understand that we're always using that law. So it's not like one moment I'm going to plug into the law and the law is going to work, or I'm going to turn on a switch and the law is going to work. No, the law is always working. It is never stopping working. And it just constantly takes the energy that you are by all of the means that you get it, and it creates your life experience. So what this is saying is you're 100% responsible for what you experience. So let's go a little bit further into this. That every thought, every word, every action, every YouTube clip you watch, everything you read on Facebook, everything you post on Facebook, everything you tweet out there, everything you say to your parents or your parents say to you, everything that you're doing is filling your vibration. You are creating a mental atmosphere by everything that we bring in. And as we bring everything in, guess what happens? We start to form an energy source. And that energy source attracts to us or it repels from us. Wow, think about that. That's a huge, huge, huge responsibility. But let's break it down and let's go even a little bit deeper. Because if we understand, and science will validate this, that everything is energy. Everything is energy. It's all in different form. And energy takes shape in different form by what we're saying is the vibration that we are. So if energy is here and it's displaying as this, it means it has a specific frequency. Okay? If energy is displaying over here and it's a different thing, it has a different frequency. So if I'm meeting someone that's vibrating at a frequency of 103.4 and I'm at 98.7, there is no connection whatsoever. Are you understanding that? That's frequency. But if there is a closeness of the frequencies, then I'll get a specific relationship to that individual. Have you ever noticed in life how you'll be with people and you'll immediately connect with some? And some people that are in the same room of maybe 10 people, you won't even know that they're there. It's because you're vibrating at a different frequency. And do you notice when we say it's vibrating at a different frequency, it doesn't make it right and it doesn't make it wrong. It's just a different frequency. So when we get into this whole element of the idea of, this is really a word that's being thrown around an awful lot right now, being normal. So if you're putting out a normal frequency today, what are you drawing into your life experience? Fear, anxiety, lack, all sorts of other things are coming in. There may be some good, there may be some joy, but if you look at society in general right now, society is dealing with an unknown, and it is in fear beyond anything. The question I say to you, you don't have to buy into what's normal. Normal is actually the Antichrist. Really think about that for a second. What is the Christ? The Christ is a term that is meant to be that which is that is in alignment with the infinite. So it wasn't Jesus Christ, it was Jesus the Christ, which means he was able to connect with that which is all powerful, all knowing. And he said so many times, it is within you that you find the Father being that connection with source. It is in you that you find your power. So if it's in you, then the Christ is in you. Now the question is, have you awakened to that Christ consciousness? Have you awakened to that Buddha consciousness? And what that is, it is an awareness within you that understands that everything you think, do, say, listen to, watch, everything you put out there is drawing to you and creating a mental atmosphere, and that mental atmosphere becomes who you experience. It doesn't become who you are, it becomes what you experience, because who you are at the core of everything that you are is the Christ. You've always been that, because think about it. If God created everything out of itself, then you must have been created out of God. So your mind, your body, your soul, everything is an expression of God. It can be nothing but perfect. And yet you were given the freedom to take the power of the law within you, the power to think, speak, and act independently. You were given that power so that you could have the experience of being in human form. You see, in human form, it is not about, as the Eastern gurus will talk about, transcending life and moving and living in an eternal state of bliss. I don't believe that one bit. I believe that we are in human form to experience and live in balance with the divine and the human. And we move in and out of that connection because we are human, and we have this thing that's called an ego that has preferences. And so when we can embrace the idea that we move in and out, we never judge each other. We never judge ourselves, because we are moving in and out of life experience. And what is life experience? It's about raising our awareness so that we can experience even greater than anything we've ever done. Because if you buy into the idea that God is infinite and that you are a child of God, you're an expression of God, that means that your possibility or possibility of infinite experience is there. So if you've had the most joyous time in your life, it doesn't mean it's the most joyous time ever. There's always another level to go to, because it's infinite. But we can't go there until we can draw all of our attention in and we start to focus on the possibility that possibility exists for us. And then we start to do what? We build the feelings around it. I like to think that the creating of the law, or using the law through words, thoughts, and actions, is the masculine aspect of the personality. And I like to think that the intuitive and the feeling nature is the feminine aspect of the personality. You cannot create with just the feminine, because you've not given the law a clear picture, a mental mold of what to create. You cannot create with just a mental mold and a picture. You have to have the mental mold and the picture with feelings behind it that are totally in alignment with it, understanding and knowing that the power within you is responding to those feelings and to that inner knowing, and that you hold that and you are persistent and consistent in your view of that despite of what is happening around you. That's really the clear. Despite what is happening around you. Because remember, there's normal around you. And if you listen to what's normal around you, you start changing the vibration of the dream that's been created, and you allow the frequency of normal to come in, and it really does what? It upsets the apple cart. This is why when people talk about a spiritual journey, it's really a journey of being alone. Because you have to decide for yourself, what is mine to do? What energy am I going to choose to vibrate in the world? And then I'm going to stick to it. If you're blessed, you will find a few people in your life that will support you. You will find a community that will support you. That's what we've created here. A community that will support you. We're not invested in what you're creating. We're invested in supporting you as you create your life. Now keep in mind, if we buy in, and we do, this idea of love, love means that I accept you as you are. Not as I want you to be. I accept you as you are. And in that acceptance of you as you are, I know that the infinite power and presence of creative law is within you. If that's within you, I see that the possibility, the power to change, to shift, to create is right where you are. I never worry about anyone, ever, because I know the second the thought goes and it changes, I know the second that we plug into the law in our awareness and we start thinking a new thought and we build on it, life must change. And you see, that's why there's always change, because consciousness is always changing around us. And if consciousness is always changing, the world must change. And so our job is to be in the world and yet connected to that which is our greater self. To fully feel. This is the thing, so many times we get into the aspect that spirituality is I transcend life. I believe that spirituality is embracing that life through me gets to experience itself. And I want to be fully present in every experience I have. And that includes both sides of the spectrum. Because when you're one-sided, that's an illusion. If you believe that you can be happy all the time, that's an illusion, and you're going to have great pain. Because life always has balance. It always comes back to balance. And so, it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy the extreme good. And it doesn't mean you have to stay in the extreme grief. But you know that this too shall pass, because life is a journey. And in the journey, there has to be contrast, because it's contrast that is that impetus that moves us forward on the path. You see, if we were just totally blissed out, think about someone who's a stoner. They're puffing away on the weed. They got the weed going. There's some Pink Floyd going on in the background. They got some Cheetos over here. And they're munching on the Cheetos and they're listening to Pink Floyd. They're blissed out. That's not what the divine is. I'm just trying to say drugs are not the answer for that. Do you hear that? It's not the answer, but so many times people want to associate that when we take drugs, we get closer to the divine. No, that's not it. The divine is a feeling that comes up within us that knows that there's a power and a presence and that I'm in control of my life if I surrender to myself, to my higher self, not my ego self, but my higher self within. And then I begin to consciously create my life. That's what we're seeking. We're not seeking a savior. We're not seeking someone to help us. We're seeking to find the spark within us that knows. To uncover that spark beyond anything and know that that's the God within. We were watching the Morgan Freeman special on What is God that's been going on, and we record it every week. And they were looking for proof of God. And they would show all the various rituals that people would do. Well, that's not what God is. How do you go within someone and feel what God is? You can't. But can you go within and feel what God is. Close your eyes. And now I ask you to just be still. Focus on your breath and listen to my words. And understand that there is a power. This power and presence that we call the divine mind, spirit. And it's centered everywhere. And when it's centered everywhere, there is no doubt that it's within us. Within every cell of our being, within our heart, within our mind, there is pure love, pure God. Ask this question: what does love desire from me today? What is love calling forward in me today? What is the feeling that is within me right here and now that is desiring for me to expand, to become aware, to know that the feeling within me is leading me toward a greater expression, or it's asking me to stop where I'm going and go in another direction? What is that feeling inside saying right now? What I know is whatever that feeling is, it's the divine, infinite mind of God, individualized as each of us, speaking clearly and perfectly right here, right now. What is it saying? Is it saying, let go? Let go and trust that the I am that you are is the I am. Let go and trust your heart, combined with your mind, can create any experience. Let go and be you. Be you, because you are enough. You are perfect. You are whole. You are complete. You are all-knowing. You are all-powerful. In your world, all that matters is that which is in you, and so embrace that. Not only embrace it, but give thanks for it and feel your heart, your soul filling with gratitude for the inner knowing of who you are. And in the embracing of it, you find that it steps into you in a way that you cannot not know it. And it is loving you, it is holding you, it is speaking for you, and it is good. It is now. It is eternal. It is blessed. And we affirm it in one voice as we say, and so it is. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.